Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Hope you're doing great. Hey guys, I wanted to go back to a subject I did a couple weeks ago. I think I called it the middle road. I just think this is so important, this subject, and I want to go a little deeper than I did on that video. So, hey, thanks for joining me here on this morning talk. I think that's what, going forward, we're going to call these morning conversations. And stay tuned, guys. We're going to start doing some lives here. I'm going to start doing, just like these morning talks are pretty regular for the most part. Not every morning, but I typically do at least 4 of them a week. I am going to start moving on to my next phase of growth, and that'll be doing lives. And for those of you that are just with me on YouTube, you're going to need to join me on Facebook, on Exit the Matrix, on Facebook, because I'm going to be probably doing my lives mostly from there, at least for now, because that's where most of my followers are, where I can get the most bang for my buck, so to speak, reach the most people. However, I will eventually be doing those here on YouTube also. So we are starting to grow. We're getting close to 2,000 people here, but I'm at 138,000 on Facebook. I had 140K at one time, but ever since I posted that meme from 4 years ago that Facebook hit me for last year with our favorite Dumbo and Chief's son, you know, the crackhead guy, in his underwear from the laptop, you know, and they tried to say that was sexual exploitation, which is absolutely ridiculous. But ever since that, Facebook has been deleting my followers, and I'm still able to send invites out to people and stuff, but I think they only filter a few of those to go through. And because every time they lift limitations off me on Facebook, I blow up. I'll gain like 5,000 people in 1 week, and then they'll hammer down on the page again. So I've been losing people on Facebook, 2,000 over the last year, just because of their heavy limitations on me. So if you guys understand why I hardly ever delve into political things, that's why, folks, because trust me, when I go live with my Rumble, we're going to be able to go unfettered and uncensored. That's another step I have to take, so we can actually do uncensored videos and talk about any subject in detail without having to worry about the mass censorship, mostly from the far left. The far left is a disease right now on humanity, and we're getting to witness what happens when they're in power, when they have control of corporations and social media and mainstream media and such. And that's kind of why I want to do this subject here. And I'm gonna have to walk softly, if you get my meaning, just because apparently now social media considers anything that's remotely civic based as being information and talk that they need to control and limit and ban. So it's unfortunate, folks. We've gotten to this time. We live under tyrannical, psychopathic people, unfortunately, from the right and the left. And that's why the middle road, the balancing your energies, your polarities, balancing your masculine and your feminine divine energies, because we all contain, if you're a man, you are typically masculine dominant, obviously. However, you still have feminine energy within you. We all do. Same with women. They have some masculine energy. And there's nothing wrong with that, folks. And I'm not saying this is not anything about, hey, we need to be androgynous no, that's not what I mean by balancing it out. However, masculine energies typically lean more towards the analytical, point of views, Whereas the feminine divine energy tends to lean more towards empathy and intuition. And so if you guys can understand how we're going to talk about this, just put those into perspective. Okay, I'm not talking about us becoming androgynous. I'm not talking about men becoming, super feminized, which is what they're trying to do to men. And the same with women. I'm not talking about you have to be super masculinized. Obviously, they're trying to do that with women also. This is in the sense of the way the brain hemispheres work. This is the way that the energies of this realm work. These laws are the way that the quantum field works, folks. They're called the Hermetic laws. They are not demonic. They are not evil. The mystery schools teach them, yes. And the reason why the mystery schools and the secret societies and the initiates have to learn the Hermetic laws is because, folks, it's the laws of this universe. It's how the energetic matrix works. It's how we interface with it. See, they've been teaching their people for a long time and keeping you ignorant and telling you through religion that it's evil to understand these principles. And the reason is because that's how they control this realm. They don't want the rest of the people to figure this out. Because once good people understand how to interface with the quantum field and understand how the energies of this realm work, the universal laws, how they work, then they lose a lot of power over us. So please understand where I'm going with this, okay? Because I understand how I'm going to get attacked on this, and that's fine. Look, folks, those of you that are my hardcore followers that actually watch or listen to every video I produce, or most of them, you guys are one of the few. You're one of the few in this realm that gets it. There's not many of us. That's why it's called, the middle path is called the narrow path, folks, because it is very hard for most people to break their polarized thinking, the division that they've been put under through various means. Let's be real here, folks. Whether it's the far left or the far right, people polarize to one end of each spectrum, regardless of who is in power. If it's the far right or the far left in power, they are tyrannical. Because when you're that polarized, you become a zealot. You are not operating in balance within yourself, within the body, within the mind, and utilizing the spirit properly. And utilizing the quantum field properly. See, these Hermetic laws, they taught us they're simple, folks. And you can literally learn them within less than 10 minutes. And that's with a simple breakdown of each of them, so you understand what it's about. And I do plan on doing a teaching where I go through each one, break them down, and break down how that works with the quantum field, okay? Because it's very important information. However, you can go look them up. There's typically 10 Hermetic laws. There's sometimes people talk about other laws, that are like higher level Hermetic laws that are kind of secrets to this realm. See, like if you've ever watched the movie The Secret, it only touches on a few of the Hermetic laws. But these people understand how the Hermetic laws work. And they use it against us, folks. They use the common folks' misunderstanding and disbelief of the Hermetic laws against them. You got the law of vibration, you got the law of polarity, the law of genders, there's all kinds of, but essentially all of the Hermetic laws come down to the true path is the balance between polarity, between gender, between, like I said, that does not mean androgynous. If you understand and I'm not going to elaborate on that if you get my meaning, because we all understand the freakiness that's going on in our society right now. I mean, the misdirection being put on people, okay? Just understand that, okay? That's not where I'm going with this. It's about energies. It's about the brain. So, if we were to have far right rule, and we've seen this in the past, what you typically have is religious tyranny. You have people being put under laws that follow religious teachings, that basically you have to follow that religion and its teachings or else you break the law. That's the problem with the far right when they're in power. They push their beliefs on everybody else. They want to push Noahide laws on everybody, Old Testament laws. Same with Muslims. Look at Muslim countries that have Muslim rule. They are very tyrannical. People are, hell, we're already in bondage when we come to this earth, folks, but when you're put under religious bondage, and if you don't believe that religion too, you really are under tyranny, okay? We see this in countries all around the world. Every time religion has the upper hand, the far right, we see tyranny and destruction and warfare. And for those of you that are on the far right still, and you're listening to me, you're going to be angry and triggered by this. And good. Because you need to actually look at this. Look at the past. Look at the Inquisitions. Look at the Middle Ages. Look at how religious rule took humanity backwards. We devolved. Spiritually. Technologically. Philosophically. It wasn't until the humanist movements of the Renaissance that we came back into balance and got out of the Dark Ages. Folks, under the name of religion, if you go back really to the beginning till now, billions have been murdered under religion. And I'm not even naming a specific religion, but this is absolute truth. Because when you're under religious rule, far right rule, you're under fanatical religious zealotry. And people can easily wipe out other people just by saying, oh, well, they don't believe in my God, so they're a heathen. They're a blasphemer. You get how this works? Now we've also seen what happens when the far left is in power. Oh, yes. When the far right's in power, the left always acts like, oh, up under us, everything's going to be like a utopia. We're all going to work together and love each other. You know, remember the hippie movements, the 60s and such? That was the thinking, right? And to be honest, I actually agreed with a lot of that. Because I've been able to see both sides of the coin, folks. I'm an independent thinker. I don't polarize to the far right or the far left. I do believe in things in both of those polarities, but I have tried to find balance between them because I understand that both of them lead to tyranny and injustice and loss of freedom every single time. Now, all these hippies and such, it was like, oh man, it's going to be, if we ever control things and overthrow the man, the warmongering right, the religious zealotry, the right, we're going to make this world a utopia. Folks, we are watching the tyranny of the left right now. Look at what we're dealing with. I mean, and right now I gotta talk a lot easier about the left, and you guys understand why, because they control this platform, they control all the other social media, and they control most of mainstream media. And they're carrying out lawfare right now. And they're carrying out tyrannical things. And they're pushing us in towards a world war, a conflagration, a nuclear war. They are pushing us towards destruction. See, they're just as When you're polarized to one far end or the other, you are a zealot. Now, we also see about the climate cult, same thing. It's the same group. We see what happens when they're in power, folks. It's no better than when the far right's in power. These people, oh my God, dude. Seriously, folks, we got to wake up. And if we just swing the pendulum back to the far right, it's going to be more tyranny. We got to quit this game, folks. See, the elite, the controllers of this realm, they understand that pushing the pendulum to the far right or the far left divides and conquers us. It keeps us at each other's throats. And every time they take away more of our freedom, they put more tyranny on us, they put more surveillance on us. Every single time, whether it's under the right or the left. The right pushed the Patriot Act. The left now is pushing mass censorship. Folks, we've seen what the far left can do under communism. Murders, millions dismissed. They cut off the food supplies. They starved millions of people. We've seen this in China and Russia and other countries where it was in power. The far left is tyrannical. The far right is tyrannical. When are we going to wake up, folks? We've got to find the balance. The balance is in the middle, folks. The balance is where we find cooperation with both sides. It's where we find cooperation with the right and the left hemispheres of the brain. See, I'm starting to think that the Anunnaki hybridized us, but they designed our brain in a way that it split us into two hemispheres on purpose as a way to control us. I think this was all a grand design of the human avatar. Instead of having a one single unified brain that's in balance, you have two brains, and most people are imbalanced between their hemispheres. See, folks, when you can be intellectual and you can think critically, but you can also balance that out with the power of the heart, of intuition, of emotion, of empathy, that's when you find balance, folks. And that's when you can critically look at things from different perspectives within yourself. You can see both sides of the coin and the edge of the coin. See, folks, we're walking on the edge. The rest are on the heads or tails side. And that's what you get with the coin flip. It never lands on the small edge, right? Because then there would be balance in the world, and we would actually all learn to get along and be able to build a utopia, be able to rebuild the Garden of Eden properly. But it always lands on heads or tails, which means that pendulum always ends up in the far left or the far right. And a lot of your teachings, a lot of you get taught to disdain those that walk the middle path. Look in your book. What's that call you? A fence sitter or something? You know, the ones that didn't make a decision, that like in the battle in heaven where a third of the fallen angels rebelled and came to earth. A third of them were with Michael and Gabriel fighting the rebelling of angels. And then there was a third of angels they never talk about. You ever notice that? The ones that were neutral, that didn't get involved in the wars of the fallen angels or the righteous angels. See what I did there? Angels. It's interesting that in the Emerald Tablets, Thoth talks about avoiding angles. He said the truth and protection lies in circles, in curves. Straight lines and angles are, in the spiritual realm, are for some reason dangerous. I wonder if that was coding for the angles, right? The angles, angels. Just a side thought, folks. If you watch the interview of Joe Rogan with Terrence Howard, he actually talked about that. See, he's getting attacked mercilessly from the right and the left. Because, see, when a man walks in truth and sees through mysteries of this realm and gets downloads of information from the Akashic, you're attacked. See, they're laughing at him, saying, he was going in this cathedral, getting this, or this huge building, and, in the spirit form and getting information and being taught things. Folks, if you haven't followed NDEs or OBEs, then you're a clown at this point, because this is all well known. That when you're outside of the human avatar, that you're in your true sense. And you can ultimately manifest, and you have direct access into these vast libraries, which many people call the Akashic Records. There are a lot of people that had pre-birth memories. Life before they went into the human avatar, into the womb. Into the baby, into the fetus. And they all laugh at him mercilessly about this. Well, these people are ignorant. They don't know anything. See, those of us that have delved into all this, we understand what all that is. Yeah. See, we understand that we've been to Earth many times and we chose to come here. We understand that this is not the true realm. That this is the simulation that we come to. Earth is just a shadow copy of the higher vibratory realms that we actually come from. See, we're travelers here, folks. We're astronauts here. The body is the spacesuit. But there are laws to this realm. And the way that you can best maneuver through this realm, the way that you can be the best person to other people, the way that you can do the most spiritually here, is to walk the middle path. Why do you think yogis and Buddhists spend so much time in contemplation and meditation? And they're always talking about do not harm others and all these things. Because they're observing the right and the left and the craziness of the right and the left. They sit in the middle and they observe both ends at each other's throats. And they realize that to become polarized and to act either way now polarizes you. And you become part of the division. I truly think Yeshua, when he was talking about that narrow path, remember the teachings he had about that? See, all you thought that it was like, oh, that's because you have to be good and only pray to Yeshua, to the Father. Of course, we know that was Jesus Christ, who is a character, a copy of Yeshua, not the real Yeshua. See, Yeshua wasn't teaching you that you had to pray through him. He was trying to teach you how to pray to God, that the temple is within, that don't you know ye are gods? He was trying to teach you these things. And he's seen the division of the times of religion and government and such. He was trying to teach people to walk the middle path. Because, see, Yeshua, he was taught the mystery school teachings. He was taught the mystic teachings of the Essenes. He traveled throughout the world. He learned with the Druids in Europe. He learned with the Buddhists and the Hindus in their temples in the Far East. He traveled the Silk Road with his uncle, Joseph of Arimathea, a rich merchant, his uncle was. See, Yeshua came back after his wandering years with all of these teachings. He was a master teacher. He had figured out how to walk the middle path. He had figured out how to interface with the quantum field. And he tried to bring us that knowledge. He even said, my Father is not of this world. Now, the source energy is all. However, this is a simulation of the true creation, folks. This realm is a copy. See, the God of this realm, Yahweh, you could call him, the Demiurge, he created this realm as a shadow of heaven. Now, whether that was meant to have been or not, I kind of think it was, because it allowed us a place to come experience duality. However, a lot of you worship the God of this realm as the creator of all. He's not. We've got to find balance, folks. We've got to unite. We've got to reach across the division and clasp each other like brothers and sisters. We've got to love one another. We've got to be critically thinking and intellectual thinking. However, backed by spiritual understanding, properly interfacing with the quantum field. You've got to find balance between the right and left hemispheres. You've got to balance thinking with intuition and with empathy. Because, folks, whenever you're out of balance in any of those, in those hemispheres, if you're totally, it throws you off. If you're totally only critically thinking, you're like one of these, I'm a college professor and there is no God. I'm so smart, way smarter than most people. You know, those smug people, you know, that have no empathy, you know. They're the types that can create potions to put into people's bodies and not care what they do to humanity because they believe they're doing the greater good. They know better than we know. They know how they should run our realm better than we do. They know what we should be putting in our bodies better than we do. They know what kind of governmental systems that we should be under better than they do. I mean, see, because they have no empathy, folks. They don't care. They see you as just an animal, right? Just a monkey. That's why the far left always teaches you came from monkeys, from at the beginning from pond scum, because they're trying to dehumanize you and they're trying to lessen your spirit. And then on the other spectrum, sometimes if you're too strong on the intuitive side and you're too strong on the empathy side, and you don't balance that out with intellect and critical thinking, you're an emotional wreck. You get controlled by your emotions, and you get very crazy when you get emotional. We see this a lot with rulers and such. And we see the tyranny that happens when that end of the spectrum is in power. We're watching it right now, folks. Censorship. I mean, just mass control. They know better how you should live, what you should eat. They want you eating bugs. They don't want you owning property. They want you living in these giant high-rise in a little tiny box. See, they don't understand that that creation is abundance. They don't understand that for such critical thinkers, they want to bring in wind and solar and all this and replace the oil and gas that powers our realm. And trust me, folks, I'm against that too, okay? All of those are a freaking joke if you want to know the truth. Because Tesla had it right, folks. This whole realm is an energetic realm. We can pull energy from the atmosphere, from the ether, you could call it. It's always been there and available. However, they control us by using resources that they can limit and control the flow of and tax you and charge you for. See, when you have free energy, they can't control you. Imagine if every house, every city was run with free energy. And they have the technologies, folks. They're lying. What they're trying to do is control us through taxation and debt slavery. See, that's one of their control mechanisms. One of the pillars is banking. Well, under banking, many things fall under that. And the control of resources, in my opinion, falls under banking. So does energy. The way that we truly rebuild the Garden of Eden, folks, and truly have a utopia is that all of us brothers and sisters that have been polarized to the far left and the far right, we start walking towards each other, to the middle. We start balancing ourselves out. We start balancing out the light and the darkness within us also, folks, because when you're in this realm, you have a dark side and a light side. Now, in the higher vibratory realms, folks, lower vibration is not able to be there. In those realms, it's all pure love and light. It is. It really is. People that cross over, this is all very well known. The only way that you can have a negative experience when you're out of the body is if you manifest a negative experience. But that realm is love and light, high vibration. Now in this realm, you have a dark side, a shadow side. Everybody sins. Everybody does great good and great evil to each other. This happens. Now, understanding that and understanding what your triggers and your dark side is, folks, you can now observe it, understand it for what it is, accept it, and learn how to put all of that back into balance. When you put everything in balance, folks, you don't get polarized. You will not do great evil or fanatical good. And the reason I say that, folks, like I said, when people think they're doing good, ultra good, it turns into evil eventually, because if you push that pendulum so far and you keep holding it there and holding it there, all of a sudden it's going to push, you're going to lose control and it swings back. And then that's when like people go on like binges and stuff, go on like, sprees where they go crazy and lose their minds and do all. You see this a lot with really fanatical religious people, folks, because you can only do so much good for so long. Sometimes you got to accept, hey man, I have a little bit of a dark view on this or that. That's fine. I'm not saying you act upon it, but just realize it's there. You have to find balance, folks. That has been the one of the key teachings since the beginning of time. They tried to pass this down to us through allegories. Religions originally had these understandings, but over time, it got lost. And I know I'm going to get attacked on this. People are going to say, oh, look, you're trying to tell people to do evil and do all. No, I'm not saying that, folks. Look at all of the atrocities done under the banner of religion, under good, right? Those who thought they were right and good. How many indigenous peoples were wiped out? How many people's traditions and their own people's cultures and religions were wiped out? How many churches are sitting on the top of ancient temples, megalithic structures? You see this in Mexico. There's a church on the top of a lot of the pyramids. Because it was a sign of our religion conquered your religion. See, folks, religion has always been a scam. It always has. Just like government's always been a scam. See, the left worships government, the right worships religion. And both of those lead to imbalance and division towards each other. And when one power gains the upper hand on the other, there's tyranny. And vice versa. When the other one gets the power, there's tyranny. Do you guys not see the pattern here? Do you not understand how they divide us? It's so simple to see the game play out. It's so frustrating when you do walk the middle path and you just see this. And I'm more of an active middle path walker. I'm not like a Buddhist or some yogi that just sits there and meditates 6 hours a day and is not, they don't want to be involved in the polarity. I get that. They just want to be an observer. I get that. But folks, if you're only an observer and you're not waking people up, then it just continues to brew and get out of hand. Gandhi understood this. Gandhi walked the middle path. But Gandhi also understood sometimes you have to invest action. You can't just sit on your ass, okay? When you just sit on your ass and you don't teach people these things and you don't help grow this movement. We're one of these few tribes out here, folks, of people that can see this for what it is. We've got to grow though, folks. We need to hit 5% worldwide. We hit 5%, we can start changing things because the sheep will follow. And we need to lead them to the middle path. We need to lead them to cooperation and understanding. See, folks, there should be no limit on what religion people want to do if that's their right. However, there should also be no limit on speech, on what people want to talk about, their views. But either side pushes tyranny on each other, and then it further polarizes people. See, the elite understand this. When they have one side attack the other and take the other's rights away, they understand that that side's going to get way more polarized. Then when they get in power, they're going to swing back hard on the other side, and then they're going to lose rights. Do you not understand this game? But ultimately, we all lose our rights. We all lose our freedom. So, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And please understand, I get a little, animated when I talk about all this stuff. It's because I'm passionate, folks. I really want my brothers and sisters to wake up. I love everybody on the right and the left. I understand we are all brothers and sisters from the same source of creation. We all come from the same realm. And we play parts when we come here. And this realm is very unstable, folks. You can see it. We're watching, just think about the last 6 years or so. It's just unbelievable what we're watching taking place. And it's time that we start changing and doing things better. It's time that we start learning these ancient teachings. It's time that we start educating each other. We start loving each other. If you want to continue to worship that Old Testament God, the Demiurge, then go ahead. If if you're on the other end and you believe in all this climate stuff and all that, then you do what you got to do for the environment, but don't push it on me. Don't take away my rights to energy and things. Don't tell me what I can eat and where I can live and what I can own, okay? It's as simple as that, folks. We need to stop pushing our polarized views on each other and start finding some common ground and understand that we're all not going to think alike, that we're all not going to agree. This is truly a message of love, folks. I hope you get that. Yes, I'm hammering at people hard because I'm trying to knock some sense into them. So I got to go, folks. But hey, I appreciate you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts. For those of you that have been, really backing me and helping me grow and spreading the word, I really appreciate you guys. You guys are absolute soldiers for truth and understanding. And I really appreciate you guys. You guys are beacons of light in this dark realm right now. And we need to light this place up. We need to wake everybody up. Just like somebody that's in a darkened room and then you rip open all the blinds and shades and the light comes blasting in and they wake up, and at first they're blinded and disorientated, but then as the eyes adjust, they start thinking and they get focused, then all of a sudden they see. That's what this is, folks. We're waking people up, okay? Hey, I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you later.